Hey everybody, it's Marco. Bringing you another first reaction of a movie that kind of flew under the radar, but not for anything good or anything bad. And the movie I'm reacting to is We Bought a Zoo. Recently I've been on a kick of like watching kind of nature documentaries, and like anybody, I'm a fan of animals and seeing a lot of like biographical stuff on habitats and stuff like that, and it interests me. So pretty much, and as I said, when this movie came out, I kind of wanted to see it at some point, but never got around to it. But looks like I'm finally 9 years goes by, and I finally got around to watching it. So We Bought a Zoo. Stars Matt Damon, Scarlett Johansson, Thomas Hayden Church, and a few other people. It's based on a true story of a man named Benjamin Mee, who I guess wrote a memoir of the fact that he bought. The memoir is called We Bought a Zoo. I think it's Devon, England, I believe. Yeah, Devon, England. And the zoo is actually called Dartmoor Zoological Park. So to start off, I guess, with my rating, I kind of would just say I'd probably give this movie maybe a 3 out of 5. It's very middle of the road. It's one of those things where it's nothing terrible, but it's nothing really that great. You do get so basically what the movie's about is Benjamin Mee, played by Matt Damon. He's a newspaper reporter, journalist kind of thing, and he's kind of been all over the world, and he's sort of a little bit adventurous, and he's kind of, I guess he feels like he's stuck in a rut or something like that, because whatever journalist company he's with, a magazine company, he quits, and he's off on the next adventure. And I think his wife died 6 months ago, and he's there raising his 2 kids. One of them is in high school. I think he's like 13, and then the other one is 6, 7, something like that. A little girl, something along those lines. So it turns out that they want to move because the teenage boy gets expelled from school. So they have to look for a new home, a new place to live, and find a new school for the kid. Through a few other places, they come across this property, this house, which is also connected to a zoo. So pretty much, Matt Damon buys the house, in return buying the property, which the zoo is on. And including the staff as well, takes on the responsibility of the zoo as well as the staff. So the staff is comprised of Scarlett Johansson and a few other people. So the majority of the movie is just Matt Damon and all the other crew there trying to essentially rebuild this zoo and get it in working condition in order to reopen. Because I think what the story is that if it doesn't pass inspection or something like that, like they'll shut down the zoo and the animals would go elsewhere, whatever the case. A lot of the story beats, because the issue here is like you do see some of the animals, and some of the animals are cool. A lot of the lions and tigers, and some of the monkeys, and some of the snakes and other reptiles. So you do get some animal, viewing and stuff like that. There is sort of like a conflict. I kind of feel like the conflict is a little weak in the movie, because the conflict is that besides trying to get the zoo up and running, there's also a zoo inspector who's kind of a hard ass. Well, he's kind of a stickler for the rules, and he's very suspicious of everything that's going on with Matt Damon and the zoo, and he kind of doesn't think that the zoo would be, is gonna, he doesn't think Matt Damon is up to snuff to run the zoo, to get it going, and so does the, Scarlett Johansson at first, and same with the other crew, that they don't think this is gonna work. But then, they just kind of buckle down, and, they don't give up hope, and, at the end of the movie, the zoo opens up to grand fanfare and all that. as I said before, some of the the acting is good. It's nothing too horrendous or memorable, really. I would say it's a very, as I said, it's a very middle of the road movie. And because they kind of introduce some conflicts with some of the characters. Like the older boy, the teenage boy. He's kind of going through this weird angsty phase, like every teenager does once in a while. And what's her name? Ellie Fanning is in the movie as well, and she conveniently plays a 14-year-old, similarly aged girl for him to kind of develop a love interest, who just so happens to be, I think, like a cousin of Scarlett Johansson in some sense. And then Scarlett Johansson, and then throughout the movie they kind of ham-fist a romance between her and Matt Damon, which you kind of go, I guess, because those are the only two logical people, because everybody else doesn't get a lot of screen time together. But even that relationship's kind of weird, because there doesn't seem to be, like, it just so happens that they come together at the end of the movie, and it doesn't seem like it's very official, because like once the zoo opens up, like Scarlett Johansson gives Matt Damon a kiss, and it's kind of awkward because there's a point in the movie she explicitly states, like, I'm 28 years old and I used to be married for a very short period of time, and it's like, well, that's convenient because Matt Damon became a widower 6 months ago. Well, this is convenient. Maybe let's get together. Yeah, and then there's parts of the movie where Matt Damon kind of reminisces about his dead wife, which kind of feels a little out of place, because they don't really they kind of hype her up a little bit in a way, but it's to what extent it doesn't really pay off. I guess it's maybe more sentimental, but other than that, yeah, as I said, it's nothing like reassuring. It's just kind of a general okay kind of story arc. As I said in the beginning of this, it's very middle of the road. It's a nice family movie, I would say. If you have kids that like animals and stuff like that, it's a nice movie overall. But I wouldn't really rush out the door to go watch it. But as I said, anybody who and as I said, recently I've been on a kick of just kind of watching, kind of nature documentaries and stuff like that. And like animal wildlife stuff. So as I said, it kind of piqued my interest, and I just gave it a watch. But yeah, at the end of it all, it's fine. If you have an hour and 45, as I said, it's very much one of those movies where it's just like, kind of turn it on and maybe do some chores around the house, like fold some laundry, dust, whatever the case. It's totally fine as just ambient noise in the room. But anyway, so that's my first reaction on We Bought a Zoo. So stick around. We have plenty more of these to come. Same with our bigger podcasts on Fridays on our major movies. But other than that, if there's any recommendations, comment, like, subscribe, all that. But stay tuned and be safe out there. Check you later. Bye.